Hello there, welcome to another episode of World of Tanks at Ungainly Titan. And one of the many changes that Update 4.7 made was that it made some changes, a fairly substantial amount of changes to the Soviet tech tree. One of them was that extra tank branch was added in the heavy tank line from the IS-3. So they moved the T10. The T10 was used IS-3, T10, IS-7. So now the T10 has been moved over to a different line, so it's IS-3, T10, Object 277, I think. And the T10, IS-3, Object 257, IS-7. And this is the Object 257. Now I've had about 30 games in this because I'm grinding out the Tier 9s, trying to complete the number of open Tier 9 tanks, at least research their corresponding Tier 10s and have all the tanks deleted. My efforts were slightly thwarted by the fact that if a tank is once deleted, as far as the filter is concerned, in the garage it remains deleted, so the Conqueror wasn't reappearing. Despite the fact that the Super Conqueror had been added a couple of patches ago, I wasn't seeing it in my undeleted Tier 9s. And I didn't think about it until recently. So what's the Object 257 like? What's it about? Well, as far as I can tell, it's a rougher, tougher version of the T10. It has better armour, better frontal armour, better side armour, better rear armour, better turret armour. The gun isn't as good. Generally the guns on the T10 seem to be a little bit better than the guns on the Object 257. In fact, the final gun on the T10 is significantly better. Bolt and rate of fire, penetration, accuracy or dispersion than the gun on the 257. That said, in my experience, you'd hardly notice the difference, because it is plenty good enough for the job that it's doing, at least as Soviet heavy tanks go. So as long as you're not too far away from your enemies and you kind of know what you're doing, you should be able to do reliably large amounts of damage to them, provided you're allowed to hit them and your allies aren't just jumping around the place like here. I would say in my own experience that the Object 257 for the first 20 games or so actually felt almost godlike for some games. Now I had bad games, but there were some games where it just felt like that you could ship and bounce all the damage all day long. But I suspect that was more of an artifact of the newness of the tank. Like when I started playing the T10, it's only fairly recently, in the scale of things over the, compared to the course or the length of my career, should we say, in World of Tanks. And the T10's been around since pretty much the beginning. So people are well used to, the people who know what they're doing are well used to and know how to deal with a T10 when they're facing it. Obviously the people who don't know what they're doing, doesn't matter, they don't know what they're doing anyway. But the majority of people you'd meet up with Tier 9 and Tier 10 that know what they're doing, and you're facing them in a T10, they know where the weak spots are, they know when to shoot and where to shoot, and performance of the gun and all that kind of stuff. Whereas with the Object 257, it was kind of new to people, so they weren't sure where the weak spots were and they weren't sure how to deal with it. And it does have better armour, so it will ship and bounce more damage than a T10 will under similar circumstances. It's not an I win button by any means, and if you go in treating it like an I win button, you will be quickly disabused of your delusions. And there are, particularly if you're up against Tier 10s, there are lots of Tier 10 tanks, particularly with premium ammo, that can just punch through the front of it like it's not there. So you've got to be careful, and you've got to make sure that when you are using the tank, that you're making effective use of the tank and the gun, that you're dishing out damage and not just taking damage, or even if you're bouncing damage, it's important to be able to dish it back out as well. But it is noticeably more resilient than the T10. Well, I don't think the T10 is terrible. It's just, it's not the IS-3. I mean, the thing is, I suppose what kills a lot of the Tier 9 Soviet tanks is the IS-3 is almost godlike, particularly at tier. Obviously, if you're against Tier 8 tank, if you're up against Tier 10s, and a lot of Tier 9s, it will suffer. Although I think I'm quite happy to take on Tier 9s and Tier 10s in the IS-3. I think the tank is good enough to do it. Now, obviously, not foolishly or anything like that. But you know, as part of a group, you can go in there with an IS-3 in a tier 9 battle or a tier 10 battle and pull your weight. You're not likely to be on great shape if you're heading into some of the tier 10 tanks on your own, because obviously there are some really powerful tier 10 tanks out there, particularly the ones with very high penetrating guns. But the IS-3 up against its peers is a very strong tank, and neither of these are, I think, is relatively as good at their tier as the IS-3 is. But I think that's less because these are good tanks, it's more the IS-3 is an exceptionally good tank, in my opinion. Now, I don't know what it's like since the last round of buffs and nerfs. I haven't played the IS-3 anytime recently. So that is pretty much it. I don't think I have much more to say about the Object 257. I have the IS-2 and the Glory IS-5, I think, to talk about yet. These being two of the tanks that I obtained from the war chests as part of the packages that I got, you know, the prizes that I got out of the war chests. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like and a share. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe. I will catch you all soon. Bye for now.